Well, I'd say good evening. I don't feel too good, but you know, we are where we are. Joined by pod regular Gilly tonight and friend of the pod, Johnny Brown, who turns out for special occasions. How you doing, lads?
All right, my mate. Yo.
What occasion is it?
It feels like a funeral, mate. It feels like a funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll run this little intro and we'll delve through the fucking carcass, pick it apart.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Leeds are shit.
We're recording, you know.
Oh, shit.
We had a good start. I don't think we've got the personnel.
You can fucking laugh all you want, you absolute felon.
I think about things. That's why you lot are idiots.
A melted version of a dick that's been shrink wrapped. The absolute elite shithousery of this.
Hold on a minute. Richard Hogan, this is all your fault, Jay. What have I done? What did I do?
You're not very positive.
I listen.
Agrees with me.
I've been positive.
Yeah.
Whatever he's been talking about in his secret meetings round back at sheds with Smart here. That's up between them, you know. I've been positive, mate.
It's a bit early for this, isn't it?
I don't know. Look at it.
Well, I tell you what, the intro is going to be the only cheerful bit of the pod. So I have.
I am sponsored tonight by both Kronenberg and the Creamy Guinness. So
you're that upset. You're just drinking everything.
So yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, these are the first drinks I've had. But do you know what? I'm all right. It's fine. It's all right.
I've brought out the Ilan Melier commemorative wallpaper tonight. Just to lighten the mood a little bit, because why not?
Did you do the Studio Ghibli version of it that I shared? That
I did, yeah.
Who is it had done from Andy's Man Club? Lee Fryer.
Yeah,
I like that. Everybody behind fuming as well.
I was all right when I sobered up this morning and I realised I thought you knob.
It's like you wake up, don't you, and you don't think about it straight away. You've got a minute, and you're thinking, "Oh, Sunday, nice, yeah," and then fucking hell. Fucking hell! Fucking hell! Fucking hell!
I woke up, I put Twitter on this morning. I saw Renda's post, and she's put 2 pictures of how the fuck did these 2 goals go in for me. And I was like, God, jeez. Where's the dog? I'm going to kick the bastard.
It's insane. You've reminded me, actually. I did have a picture that I put in our WhatsApp group that I was going to fire up. Just the angle of that goal. I'm still baffled by the whole thing. I can't get my head around it.
So I've got something to admit at this point that I've not told anybody at all yet, and I can show a picture of it. I don't know if you'll be able to read it. It's not backwards, is it?
No.
LA busting for a clean sheet today.
That's what I said at half time, but it didn't send. In the predictions chat.
Wow. Holy shit. I mean, look at this, lads. How's he conceded from there? It's like shades of Seamus Coleman all over again.
Yeah, that's bad. Sorry, mate. There was you know what led to the corner, for the first goal?
Yeah.
He did a quite good save, actually, didn't he? I remember saying to Alfie.
Yeah.
I said to Alfie, he's kept in the game today. And as I said that, he fucking dropped the bastard. I was like, you.
So it wasn't just me. That's all right.
No, it wasn't me. No, it's me as well. I said, he's played real well.
Mate, when he saved that penalty, I said to the guy in front of me, oh my God, he saved a fucking penalty. We're going up. It's happening. We're doing it. And then, like, an hour later, I just wanted to kill myself pretty much.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe what I'd just seen. Do you know what I mean?
I saw you walking pub, and I just saw your face. I was like,
I was so angry. I was so angry.
I had to give you a cuddle.
WhatsApp didn't outweigh out. I can't wait to be in there with
you. But do you know what? Do you know what's really funny about it? And I've never experienced this before, I don't think. But when that second goal went in, the whole crowd, nobody even kicked off. Everyone just went, oh.
Yeah.
They were fighting in South Stand.
Was it?
Oh, the one where I were.
I voted myself.
Around me, it was just a collective sigh.
It were at full time that they were fighting, but there was genuine fighting.
Really?
Jesus Christ.
I voted my seat in front of me and I voted the seat behind me. And yeah, I was fucking.
I couldn't believe it.
What were celebrations like for our second?
Oh,
mate, everyone went nuts where I was.
Was it mental in cheese? Because
everyone were hugging each other. Everyone were like, "Fucking hell, we've got out of jail. We've got out of jail." Fucking, that's what it was like.
It was even mental in the East Stand. There was fucking men kissing each other and everything.
That's normal at East Stand.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll say to the bloke who sits next to me, I said, "Do you know what this game was? You know, when it was 1-0, like I said, do you know what this game reminds me? It reminds me of that Barnsley game, you know, the promotion year, where we were playing
why you not saying hello, shite.
Playing absolute shite, you know what I mean? But fucking hell. It just reminded me of that. Yeah.
Well, it didn't, did it? They weren't down to 10 men. They should have been down to 10 men, but they weren't down to 10 men, and we didn't lose it. It feels like a defeat, but we didn't lose it. It
does feel like a defeat.
Yeah.
It's not a good point, though, is it, Gilly?
It's not a good point. We've been in front twice at home, and we've not come away with a victory. And let's be fair, they did nothing. I'm not saying they didn't deserve a point from this game because we were abject, but they were no good. I don't think they did anything to actually earn the point. They were, they were gifted by mistakes from us. We weren't good enough to take 3 points. It don't matter how you spin it. The fact that if you play anybody, if you play Aronson in net, we're probably better off. But if you play somebody else in net, we'd probably come away with the win. Now, but saying that, there was a comment just as I'd popped up that message on my phone. Richard Hogan saying, in fairness, Gilly Melia were probably close to man of the match prior to dropping that ball. Now the thing is, one of those really good shots. He gets a hand to it, but he just can't keep it out and it goes in. Nobody's pissed off at that because he's made a good effort at saving a good shot. Very much like Aronson's layup for QPR to score. Melier's going to have to really go some to keep that out. It's a very, very well-hit shot. Yeah. The thing is, he does really, really well against the well-hit shots and then just fucking spoons it to somebody's feet 2 yards out and what...
It was just all over again, wasn't it?
Has he reached Wiedwald or BPF levels yet?
Not far off.
I think the thing with Wiedwald for me were a fairly decent shot stopper. So I think they are. There's a lot of correlation between the two because they're both flappy. It's like the ball's covered in butter. The worst thing is, and a lot of people have pointed this out overnight and this morning, is quite often everybody's going, "Why didn't he fucking catch that?"
That's
because
why
he insists on punching it out. Well, one, because he can't, but two, why didn't he just fucking keep doing it then?
Yeah.
Having done what he's already done and spooned it to somebody's feet 2 yards out, keep punching it. I don't know. It's easy to pick apart. You can look at Tanaka's effect. Now, I had a chat with Smarty at half time because I were in South, so I were on concourse with him. And he said, "We just can't pass a ball, but I don't know what changes you make." I said, "What you do is you bring Tanaka on." Genuinely, I thought you bring Tanaka on, the passing will be crisper, it'll be sharper. Him and Rothwell in midfield, no problem. Passing will be much better. But Tanaka were megged for the goal after Joseph's touch. And the other one for the corner. Tanaka just booted it out for the corner for no reason at all.
That way spawned it.
Yeah.
That way spawned it.
So
there was that shot that Bogle did as well that went to nowhere.
Yeah.
Like nobody did anything good.
Well, I actually thought that Berardi played quite well. It was quiet. He didn't do very much, but he forced a very good save. He had one saved onto the post. I thought he largely did pretty much what he needed to. I thought Rodon played all right, and I thought Rothwell played all right. And outside of that, other than Melier for the first half, outside of that, I don't think anybody played particularly well. I thought Byram was Byram. He were a 7. He's a solid 7, but he's not going to give you what Firpo does. It just isn't.
No.
I thought Solomon were really quiet. I thought Dan James looked all right, but that thing where he cuts in and takes a shot with his left so rarely works. I want him to stop doing it.
Yeah.
Pick a man instead of having a shot, because I like him. I rate him. I think he's played really well this season. But that cutting inside and having a shot with your left so rarely works. Well, if it's not working,
didn't he play a terrible pass that ended up leading to their first goal, Dan James? It got intercepted. It ended up our end again. Then I'm sure that's where the corner came from.
I can't remember.
Yeah, because there was someone on a break and he went for the through ball and it was a shit pass. Right. They just got it out and they countered us. So I remember just thinking, fucking hell. It's like we're just the architects of our own demise.
Yeah.
We're coming up against teams that are not good and we're giving them these opportunities. We're giving them these ins, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why the other teams around us have hit their stride now and it's routine for them to win. We're having to fight tooth and nail to get anything.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
I think there's always ebb and flow with football. I mean, look at Man City this season. There's always ebb and flow with it. And over 90 minutes, anybody can beat anybody. The approach that they took, the clowning around, diving on the floor. I mean, I've watched the penalty so many times. It's not a fucking penalty. No, and I tell you what, it's stonewall not a penalty if you consider that Dan James can just be booted as hard as a defender wants in box, nowhere near a fucking ball, and that's not a penalty. So, there is contact. It's not a non-contact sport. The contact is hip to hip, and the guy's already on his way down. That's not a fucking penalty anyway. But he saved it. Fair play. He did well. I don't think it was a particularly bad penalty. I thought it was a good save rather than a penalty.
Mm. Yeah, he got down well. He got down very well, I thought.
But if we consider the starting lineup, I don't think there were any major surprises other than I was surprised that Ampadu came straight back in. I think we all expected Arrington to start. Pirro wasn't going to be dropped. Solomon and James seem to be the only choices. I don't really get that. Nonto, all right, had limped off in the first game and had come back early from international duty. I get him not starting. Ramazani's had 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just been training. Yeah. So why not give him his head? James and Solomon have played well this season. I'm not saying that they've not played well this season, but do some rotation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know about you, Johnny, but I would have probably started Ramazani in that game because he's lacking minutes. He needs to play. And we saw when he came on, he were a bit sloppy. And I think that's due to his rusty.
Yeah. I think I would have started. Yeah. I think I would have started with him, you see, because you thought, we'll beat Swansea. They're fucking rubbish, aren't they, basically? And I thought, start then. It was a perfect game to make that change, I thought. Because I think Solomon looked knackered yesterday, I thought. He just couldn't get involved. Couldn't get involved at all. The big surprise for me was Ampadu. I was really shocked at that. I thought it'd been best for him being on the bench at best, I thought.
Yeah.
But
come on for 20 minutes and play the game like he did earlier in the season.
Yeah, wind it down now. Come on for the last quarter of an hour. Just that was and he looked as well. And I noticed as well when just as he came off, he lost the ball, didn't he? I think he got tackled in. I am fucking fuming. but yeah, he lost the ball, and straight away. This was after about 55 minutes, was it? 50 minutes, 55 around the area, and you can see straight away like they called over Tanaka straight away. I thought, he just lost the ball and they broke away. 58. Yeah, that, really early.
That mad 2-footed tackle attempt that he did were a bit out of nowhere. He didn't need to do that, and that felt like something that he threw just at him because he didn't know what else to do because he couldn't catch him properly.
Yeah.
That were a fitness thing, and he were lucky he didn't make more contact and get sent off for that because he could have been. He were off the ground with his feet.
Yeah. No,
that's not like him.
It's not, but like we say, the sharpness aspect has to come into it. You cannot expect him to be match sharp having played no minutes, but that's why you bring him on for the last 15 and let him play his way into a game before you just start him. I don't know. It's difficult because for me, we have been lacking his leadership. So you want him involved. But for me, if you've got somebody that isn't as mobile as they normally are, then you can de-risk putting them in the side by dropping Strike instead because he's not mobile anyway. So what do you lose? Whereas in the centre of midfield, now the difficulty we've got is Tanaka had done a lot of miles. So and got late back. That's the reason Firpo was on the bench, because he played Wednesday morning. So it's a tight turnaround to then come back from Caribbean and get set up for the game. So I understand Firpo being dropped. Tanaka's gone to Japan and played 2 games there and then come back. It's a long way to go. So I understand those changes being made, but the problem is you lose Tanaka's running, albeit it might not have been available to us if he wasn't sharp enough to start, but you lose Tanaka's running and you've got somebody that's not quite as mobile and not quite as sharp. Then it's going to go that way. For me, it's not a surprise actually that it's been quite poor. I guess it's whether Gruev's played. He's been away. He's played internationals as well. We can only play what we've got available to us.
Yeah.
Didn't he play 2 games, Gruev?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think
just
he
like
did.
Tanaka did. He came off at half time for one of them, I think. Or did he come on at half time? There were a change at half time for the first one, I think. But like I said, on another day, so Perraud had a shot saved onto the post, and another one which, to be fair, I thought Arrington was shit, really, really bad. But the one that was saved onto the post, the one that was saved onto the post from Perraud would have been an Arrington assist, and Arrington's got himself a goal, albeit 2.5 yards out, could not miss. But you've got to be there and you've got to score it. So
fair play. He got himself in the position.
I guess he would have done his job, even though his all-round play was abject. And he offered less than he gave. The one where we did end up scoring, if he'd have had his own way and Bogle had teared strips off him when Bogle were running football, it'd have just been a flag and Arrington offside, because he was just blindly running football. He were about 10 yards off. And he went, I'm going to run off that fucking ball. That happened right in front of me, and Bogle's going, get the fuck off it.
It's like when a dog gets on pitch. Chases
the ball. Like watching under sevens football where they're all fucking to chase around after the ball.
I love that.
But that were almost as unmissable as Tanaka's goal that were given to Arrington, because he went in off him. But all that aside, it's still in our hands. I know, I get that was poor. But it is still in our hands. It's not like it's a bin fire. We've fucked it. The funeral time is now. It might be in a couple of weeks, because what? If we don't win our next 2 and the other 2 win both of their next 2, that's going to be really, really tough to overcome.
I won't survive it.
But ultimately, Delcroix should have been sent off. Now, he should have been carded before he was. I don't know if you saw it, but right on the touchline in front of me, there were twice Dan James had done him all ends up, and he just put both hands in his chest and pushed him over like that. Like, well, hang on a minute. Doing that once when your man's beaten you is a booking. He didn't book him first time. He then warned him for a bad tackle and didn't book him again. And then the next time he pushed him like that, he booked him. And then there were a bad tackle in second half that should have been sent for on about 70 minutes.
Yeah. And then they subbed him straight away, didn't they? They subbed him straight away.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He came off on
70. Was that is it number 28? Is it number 28 he was? I think it's number 30, number 38 or 28.
Might have been 38.
Yeah, he did that foul, and the referee sort of looked at him, and then must have been within about 30 seconds, they subbed him straight away, because I think they knew.
Yeah. They knew. Ref knew they should have sent him as well.
The referee was fucking absolutely awful yesterday, but it was shit for both teams. It was shit for both teams. It wasn't just like being against us. It was fucking shit for them as well. Yeah, was it 28? Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
But the ref was awful.
He was terrible. It's hard to take as well. Like, when you start the game like that, you score in the first minute, and it's like Aronson gets a goal, and then stupid penalty, Melier saves it. You think, fucking hell, this is our day. Yeah. It's finally all coming together. We're going to shithouse it. We're going to get a win. All these things are going to happen. And then somehow it just flipped upside down. Yeah. And it was just like that, and it was gone.
It was.
It reminded me of Watford.
Chasing the game.
It reminded me of the Watford game when Ramazani got injured. And we were in the lead, and they brought it back. They got back into it, and we were kind of hanging on. And it reminded me of that one. because Ramazani had got injured after about 13 minutes, and then the entire complexity of the game changed.
Yeah,
So there was that one. And this game made me think of that, and it also made me think of Blackburn last season when they beat us 1-0, where we never really got going, and the opposition didn't do anything to hurt us. We just hurt ourselves. And I guess that's the frustration, is that we know that we're more than good enough to beat anybody on our day. It's just that when it's not our day, we're not squeaking through and getting the wins that we don't deserve when the others are. And that's one of the things that you talk about champions, is winning when you're not playing well. And it feels like somehow we're not doing that. We don't have that in our locker to just be able to pull it out. You know, even the late results against Sunderland and Sheffield United, I felt like we were the better side. It just took us a long time to get the goals and get our rewards in the game.
We just seem to struggle so much.
QPR, Portsmouth, this game, we've not been clearly the best side, I don't think.
How do we get out of this dip, Johnny? How do we turn it around? Because we're in a rut now, no doubt about it.
Yeah, we are in a rut.
What do we do?
But I think this won't be the only blip, I don't think. And it won't be the only blip. Them two will have a blip as well. They won't win every game. Them two. Well, they can't win anyway, because they both play each other, don't they? So
we kept saying that about Ipswich.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, to be fair. Yeah, I don't know. I think he can't. I thought the break came at the right time for us, because we weren't playing very well, was we? So I thought, like last year, we was absolutely fucking flying, weren't we? When we had the break, and it was
Amen, Joe.
Yeah.
It absolutely undid us last time, and we all, I think, welcomed this one.
Yeah, and I thought, yes, it'll sort us out, but I don't know. Like, it's wet all year, so why all of a sudden is it?
For the most part,
not. Yeah. But a couple of changes. Like I think this, they've all been away for internationals. It would have been a perfect save. Ramazani didn't go anywhere, so give him a run out.
Should have played.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
And if you hell bent,
you can make that change.
Put him at 10.
Yeah.
No, not just that. There's one way that you can potentially change the fortunes of the team, and that's play Darlow. I don't think he's the answer. I certainly don't think he's the answer long term. It's not like he's not playing. He's just come back from international.
Yeah. He's playing well for Wales. He's playing well for Wales.
We're getting to the point of desperation now, Gilly. It's just, you're not supposed to be trying to find the answer with 7 games to go.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, you're not.
You're not supposed to be looking for something different. You're supposed to be playing at the best of your abilities now, because you've done this all season. You know what you can do. You know what your job is. Everybody knows what everybody else is going to do. You should be like a well-oiled machine at this part, and we've gone backwards, and I just don't understand that. And that's the problem with bringing Darlow in, and I'm not against it at this point, because I'm sick to fucking death of seeing that fucking baguette-eating twat with his biscuit wrists just throwing points away for us. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it. And people say, "Oh, he's young. He's played more minutes than any other goalkeeper in Europe in the last 5 years, I think." Do you know what I mean?
Say what you think, Joe.
He's older than our captain.
I am. Yeah.
I agree with you.
People can't say he's young. That's not. He's still got a lot of football to play, because keepers will mature to their peak at 29 to 33, maybe somewhere in that. So he's got a long way of improving to do. But to say that he's young now, if our club captain's 23 and Melior's 24, I think, well, that's not a thing then, is it?
No,
it's just not a thing. Not. He's played for us for 6 years now. He was 18 when he came into the side.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
It's not a thing. And I think the fact we're inevitable that we're going to come on to. So I'm not going to avoid the subject, because I think with Darlow, especially if Ampadu's playing as well, because Rodon and Ampadu know his game and he knows theirs. Fine. Strike's not as good as Ampadu. There are very, very few strike sexuals left that would say otherwise. Everybody else can see it. So there's that little bit of doubt, I suppose. But with Ampadu in the side, being the anchor man in midfield, and Rodon playing at centre back, having Darlow there feels like it's low risk anyway. He's come off the back of an
international. Can't be any worse.
He's conceded 1 goal in 2 games in international level. It's like,
yeah.
But the one thing that I would say is just before the international break, I did say, fair play to Farke, because I would have dropped Meslier after the Sunderland game. He didn't, and we went on a run where we didn't concede for 7 games.
And
in those games, it played. Yeah, it played quite well through that period. It's not like early in the season when the only reason we were getting clean sheets is we didn't allow anybody to have a shot. Genuinely, he'd made some good saves, so he played himself into a bit of form, but we can't wait for him to play himself into form again, and we can't afford for every 5 or 6 games for him to just have a complete clusterfuck and just gift points away.
Yeah,
and it's destroying us because the players can't have any trust left in the guy. They just can't. And you're then playing with almost a mentality of we're a goal down before we start because this guy's likely to give one away. We have to work twice as hard now if we're going to get a result. And on top of that, I think part of the reluctance maybe to put Darlow in is because he plays very differently in the way he plays out from back to Meslier. It's kind of a bit of a tactical change as well. And I'm not sure Farke wants to or maybe even can implement that at this point.
And I think that's a fair comment, but Meslier doesn't do it well. You know, we saw when he first came into everybody talks about the Arsenal game. He looked like he had brilliant passing range. We don't see any of that anymore. For whatever reason, we do not see him picking out a man. Maybe it's the way that side's set up against us. Maybe it's the fact that we're not setting up in the same way so that we don't give him those targets on the wings or at fullback or whatever. And he's got to do that shit fake one way and then roll it the other way because you know exactly what he's going to do every fucking time. He's not playing it out well. So having somebody in that is a steady 7 instead of 1 week or for 60 minutes an 8.5 and then fucking spooning it into his own goal or to somebody's feet 2 yards out.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the solid 7.
He keeps doing it, Gilly. He keeps doing it.
And it's one of those positions where when you make a fuck up, it's a calamity. Like Calamity James was known for it. He'd played 8,000 games or in top flight or whatever for England as well, and was still known for the shite that he did because when they make a big mistake, it's a goal. That's just how it works. Very, very similar to a centre back. You know, centre back makes a big mistake, somebody's thrown goal. So it's likely going to be a goal or at least a good opportunity to score. So it's a real difficult one there for me to think if it's so regular, and it's not just this season, it has been regular for the last 3 or 4 seasons, ever since Bielsa. Let's be fair, it has been that. So for me, it's a no-brainer, and I saw somebody comment on it. Only Sam Allardyce had the sense to drop him.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah, because he knew that he couldn't handle the pressure.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's a shit manager, and even he knew.
But I saw that, you know, when you see the reaction of that first goal, when you look at all the other players, they all don't go at him. They all just think you can see them all. They all go like, for fuck's sake, and just walk off
again.
Yeah, again. You know, like after the old game. There was visually, you can see him having a go at him, can't you?
Yeah.
This one, they all walked in and said, fucking hell, not again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Done it again. And he sat there like a fucking prune on the floor.
It feels like it's really sort of kind of shit to focus so much on one player. It's not all his fault. But when he's fucked up so bad so many times, it's so hard to look past it, isn't it? Because it's just it's becoming such a central part of what's happening to us with our results and stuff.
And it is
there's almost a narrative there before the game starts because it's happening.
Yeah,
they can't have no confidence in. I don't think so.
No.
The one thing the centre back needs is confidence in the keeper.
Yeah,
and the fact that they don't have that.
That's what makes a good defence. If you're all confident with each other, and then you're all right. You have that 1 weak link, that's it. They can completely fucking ruin it.
Yeah. It changes how you play as well if you're a centre back in front of a dodgy keeper, because there's stuff that and there's stuff that you might think I'm not gonna stretch to try to get to that and potentially fuck up. I'm gonna usher him or whatever. Keeper will be all right with it if he takes a shot, you know. Instead, you're thinking, I've got to get to that. I've got to stop that. I can't let it go past me because this guy's going to let it in. And you're panicking. You're not calm and playing like you're not focused. You're panicking. And I think there's going to be an element of that in our defence with Melia now. And that's just a sad fact.
Yeah, it's just like death ways. If you pass it back to the keeper, which way you got to put it to him? With his stronger foot. If you have to put it to his right foot, you think, fucking hell.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got to have keeper confidence. If you don't have it, then I think you're fucking ruined. I think you need it.
Why are there some things that are just Leeds? Like for so many years until Joe Rothwell came along, we couldn't beat the first man at a corner. We couldn't.
We've never had a good left back since Dorigo.
Yeah, we don't have a good keeper. We always have someone that looks all right and turns to shit. It's just like there's just things into that are just Leeds that just happen, regardless of who the players are, who the manager is. And I think it all comes out of that curse. It must be, because I can't think of how else. But can't we get a different gypsy to come and take the curse off? Does it have to be the same one?
Well, they've had somebody piss on all 4 corners or whatever they did.
But that was Carl, and he wasn't supposed to do that.
I think
that was Luke on his day out.
It's
banned from stadium tours.
The players are talented enough to win all of the games that go into at this level. We've got the talent.
Yeah, we have.
What we don't have is the mentality. They haven't got the bollocks. That's
the most frustrating part, the fact we've got the talent. We shouldn't be having these problems.
Absolutely. But, when the chips are really down. So I think, the Sunderland and Sheffield United games that we talked about earlier in the pod, the players just kept doing what they were doing. And I were getting really frustrated because I could see that what they were doing wasn't working. I was like, try something different. And in the end, they carried on doing what they were doing and it worked. We nearly ran out of time, but we didn't run out of time and it was ace and we all loved it because we got away with it. But it wasn't working in this game. It were like, when I was frustrated, when I know we were all frustrated with Solomon's performances when he first came back in after his injury, but what I was saying at the time is my problem with him is not only is he not playing well, but he doesn't seem to be working hard either. And as a player, if you're not playing well, you have to work harder and harder and harder, and eventually the form comes. Now, eventually his form came and he played well, and rest is history. Fine, he played well. Yesterday, it was like we didn't play well. And we didn't step up the work rate to cover the fact that we weren't playing well. And it was almost like we just gave them an easy afternoon.
I've got the momentum graph that you love here, Gilly. Sorry, go on, Johnny.
No, mate. You do your graph.
It's quite mixed, is that? We don't normally see it that mixed. That first half were abysmal.
Yeah. It was.
When you look at it though, like when they've had possession there, they've not really done much with it. They've only got a couple of spikes there where they've done something dangerous, and we've just allowed a team to basically come and do what they want at home for that first half, and not lay the glove on them. And I don't know, something's not right.
You know what those spikes are? Is when they kept putting those dangerous balls into the box, from free kicks from about 20 yards out on the wing.
Yeah,
they was putting some fucking really good balls in. It was causing. Didn't one of them hit the post as well, and just landed back in Melia's hands?
Yeah,
was that the first half? One. Yeah, and that should be a warning in itself.
It would only because he was only watching it back. That had seen. Yeah, I thought it would have shot and it had gone into his hand, but it came back off post and he
just came back to him. But that should be a warning in itself because the amount of times they did it, they put some really dangerous balls in.
Simon's balls in from the flanks. They were really good balls. His corners were good, albeit unchallenged and completely flapped at. But the way that he were getting the whip and the bend and power on the balls, there were good balls in. I was right up front at South Stand and near corner flag, and you could see him getting whipped in, and it did look dangerous. But that should be fairly straightforward to deal with.
Dr. Cox says Paul Brennan, he went missing like the French did in World War II. He must feel like he's at Dunkirk sometimes with all balls coming in above him and he can't cope with them. Do you remember when Bielsa used to cover for him and tell us that he told him to boot it out when we were under pressure?
Yeah.
To get us out of our half.
I remember when Bielsa left, and almost straight away, there was somebody that was sat behind me, and he was like, "Just do fit out, just get it out." And I'm like, "Is that how far we've fallen immediately? Is that what we're doing
Some
now?"
people revert to type.
Yeah. We just had the best 3 years of football, and then you think, just go to fucking Sam Allardyce football straight away.
If in doubt, kick it out.
Kick it out.
In this ball,
I tell you when you're 10.
We've got no but wingers, but we're not going to play them up wing. We're just going to play everybody down middle and play penis formation. And you're on long throws.
Yeah.
So I saw a few people upset with Joseph after his horrendous touch. Think about that one, Gilly.
He might as well have had a shot at our goal.
Didn't do us any favours, did he?
I had to say no about
him. Not saying no.
No, not saying that about him.
Can't get into that.
No. I'll get you banned. I can see a good player in there, but I don't think it'll be for us, to be fair. Abby needs a year away, another championship club, or go back to Spain for a year to play every minute.
Yeah.
He'll end up in Spain. He'll end up in Spain.
I think so.
And he'll end up scoring a fuck ton of goals. And we'll all be like, fucking hell, what a player he's turned out to be.
He's a capable player. He's not a J. Wright.
It won't happen if
he's got
stays
capability.
Yeah.
He definitely has the capability to be a good player in the future. The problem is, how do you get him there without giving him minutes? So you are right. He goes on loan because if we don't go on loan, well, promoted or not, he's not ready this season. He's clearly not ready this season, which means that next season, which is only 6 months away, he's not going to be ready in 6 months to then be the main man again. It was ludicrous that we went into it this season thinking he was going to be our starting number 9. He'd never started a league game before this season. It's stupidity.
The worry is
we can't get into the 49ers and their transfer approach now because this is about the actual match. And I'm only going to get shit with people saying, no, you're just happy that we failed because you said that it were going to be shit. It's like, well, the worst thing is I didn't want us to fail. I just could see it happening because we didn't have a big enough squad. We've literally got the smallest squad in the league. It don't take a fucking rocket scientist to know that might cause issues late in the season when players are fucking exhausted.
I actually backed Joseph to be top goal scorer this season in the championship.
A lot of people,
a few people did.
Because
looked great in pre-season.
In pre-season, he was, and he stopped out. He's stopped really stocking out.
Last season in Cup.
He built out, and I thought, this could be his year. You know what I mean? But
I think he's a player that will score a lot of goals over the course of his career.
Yeah, he will do.
Not there yet.
Yeah,
no, and it's a heavy shirt to wear for someone who's Leeds number 9.
Absolutely.
It's tough. Like Gilly's been saying all year. This is his first season in professional football, really, isn't it? His first where.
Bookies must love Johnny.
Well, I do give him about 30 quid a week. So,
and the rest.
Don't love me.
When you're in that truck and truck stops and you just laid there banging bets on Ukrainian women's second division football.
Yeah. No, I'd say no. The boss might
this is one here. Dr. Cott says people have been clamouring. I think he means clamouring for Bandor Bamford. I think the thing is, the issue that we've got is I don't think people want Bamford. I don't think people expect Bamford to come in and do anything. I think the issue that we've got is the only actual number 9 that we've got in the squad is still Bamford, other than a youth prospect, which Joseph still is, and somebody that's not really a 9. He's kind of a halfway between a 9 and a 10 in Biro. He's a support striker, really. So the reason that people are saying that is because well, we haven't really got another choice.
No.
The closest other than those is Nonto.
It's the whole thing as well, isn't it? About just do something different. Anybody, just try something. Yeah. And again, that goes back to what I said near the start. We shouldn't be in this position at this point of the season. We shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know who we blame for that. Do we blame
it about Bamford?
Yeah. Do we blame Farke? Do we blame the players? Do we blame the 49ers for not investing in January and getting more players in? I mean, is it
January and the start of the season? Farke made it very, very plain that there was one major issue in his squad, and that was that we didn't have a 10 at all. Now it's proven by playing somebody that's not even a footballer that that's the case, because he's played Arrington all season. But in all seriousness, we started the season thinking that Pirot was going to be at the 10 because we didn't really have much else to go for. So we thought that Pirot were going to be at the 10, which meant that we only had Joseph to play up front because we didn't have another 9, unless Bamford was available or Nonto was played as a striker instead of a winger. So not getting a 9 and not getting a 10 has meant that we've ended up where we are, where we've got genuine depth on the wings. He still doesn't use it, but we've got genuine depth on the wings. But what we don't have, we said 2 months ago, what if Pirot gets injured? Well, when Pirot's not scoring, we're not scoring at the moment.
Yeah.
No Pirot, no party.
Well, sorry, when Pirot's not scoring, we're not winning. So it is a tough one because what he's done has worked all season and now it's not. But it's almost like, everybody was critical of Bielsa for not having a plan B. His plan B was make plan A better. But plan A was so good that it overcame many of the obstacles that we had. With Farke, you're looking at it, you're going, right, okay, your plan's not working, and doing the same thing and expecting different results is the first sign of insanity. So why are we doing that?
Maybe he's lost it.
I think his substitutions are coming out. His substitutions are coming out early now, aren't they? Don't you think?
I don't know. Did he bring Willie Nonto on at 85 minutes?
No,
hang on. J-Dog says Joseph and Bamford have cost us as much as Millier's errors this season.
Bamford's not been there, do
things. Bamford's many things. Does he mean by being injured? Because
he's not played.
That's a difficult one. Joseph certainly hasn't cost us. Aronson, for me, has been the lowest point of the season, the worst bit of the squad. More so
Joseph
than
hasn't cost
even
us?
Now. I think it's very difficult to say that Joseph has cost us more or as much as Meslier. Bearing in mind he's barely played and he's not started a game before this season. I think that's Mellier's played regularly for 6 consecutive seasons, and this is Joseph's first real start in the squad. I think it's really tough to expect the same level of output.
He's fluffed a lot of chances. He's fluffed stuff that Bamford would have been crucified for fluffing. And he's got a bit of a pass because he's young, but he has fluffed a lot of chances. Cost us as many points as Meslier is probably strong.
No, Melior's cost us about, 15 points this year? 10, 15 points?
Probably.
Somewhere between 10 and 15, I'd say. If you think Sunderland, all these ones, you can start reeling them off because it is a litany of errors. You could create a show reel of the issues that he's had this season, and it'd be an extensive watch. It won't be over in no time, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says, we've had to rely on a lad who isn't ready and a croc. Some strikers win you 10 points. So
absolutely fair comment then. Because it's not Joseph and Bamford's fault. We knew that Bamford was a croc before the start of this season. We knew that Joseph was a prospect because he'd never started a league game before this season. So for me, that's the 49ers rather than those individual players.
Yeah, it's not like Pat's fault for being injured. But the club knew he was injured and we hadn't dealt with it.
Should do decent thing and retire, but
Here's one. I got absolutely laughed at when I said I'd play Joffy. I wouldn't have played him over Joseph. I'd have played him over Aronson because Joffy's not a 9 either.
I would play him over Aronson, definitely.
But he's gone a lot. There are people. In fact, I think it might have been you, Johnny, were telling me that do you work with somebody that's an Hull fan?
The factory of them.
There's got to be someone over there.
No, it was somebody else. Was it Carl? He works with an Hull fan. they'd give Joffrey player at season.
Oh, yeah, it was Carl.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, but he's playing at the same level we are, and we didn't give him a chance at all, and we've had somebody failing all season. Why not even just give him a go? It's just, yeah.
It just shows you
I put that
faith in a player does. It just
yeah.
shows you what faith in a player does. Telling him
I put that at the 49ers. I really do. Because Joseph was a massive gamble for him to be ready this season. If he scores 5 early on and goes on to have a good season, fine. But when those goals didn't come early on in the season, you're thinking, right, go sign somebody before window shuts then, because he's not scored yet. And that's a huge weight to put on him.
Absolutely.
So the last bit of Smarty comment there for the audio listeners. It's not Pat's fault he's injured, but it's definitely his fault for being shit, and it's the fault of the club for not replacing those useless flats too. Yeah. We could all see the holes in the side at the start of the season. So do something about that, and we haven't. So I remember Luke laughing at me, and I said, in order for us to get promoted this season, we're going to have a lot of luck. And he went, look, what are you talking about? We've got the best squad. Problem is, we had the best 11 and we had some good players. But when you've got 2 keepers and 3 youth prospects that have never played a minute of first team football on the bench, that's not enough for a championship season.
No,
every team needs luck, don't they? You can't go through season just being.
And genuinely, I thought he'd done really, really well. And I thought we'd got through where we needed the luck, because the luck was Tanaka being as good as he was. Yeah. Having never played at this level, Tanaka being as good as he was, Rothwell being able to step it up, both of which I've held my hands up to. I thought they were a gamble. The gamble's paid off. Fine.
Yeah.
That doesn't stop it being a gamble, but the gamble's paid off. So do you know what? Fine, fair enough. Hold my hands up to them. The problem that we had is Gruev got injured, Ampadu got injured, them two played. Trying to bring Gruev back in. Gruev's fairly solid. He's done all right. I don't think he's done anything major bad, but he's too negative at home, in my opinion. So he's all right for away games where we need to set up slightly differently. But ultimately, centre midfield and on the wings is the only real place we've got any depth.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Yeah.
Do we have any hope for Luton between the three of us?
Well, the hope is that Luton is shit.
3-0
to Luton.
Luton.
Fucking hell. Write that down, Gilly.
No, don't put that. That's not my. You can fuck off. That's not my prediction.
We got him.
Yeah, you can fuck off. Yeah. No, I think we'll win on Saturday.
Yeah? You really do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I tried to get a ticket, but they were impossible. I hate our website.
Have you ever been there?
No.
It's fucking awful.
I want to do the thing where you walk in through someone's house.
I've done that. I've done that when we went.
You read the fridge while you were going through and used the shitter.
Really hot day, there was some fucking bloke sunbathing. I was like, look down there, all right?
And these bunch of smugglers.
It's sunbathing away. I'm like, fucking hell, man. I'm like, so I told you, how many footballers you had in here? I said, I've had loads over the years.
So I'd like to have gone.
Well, this might give slight hope. I mean, we're straying into main pod territory, but it might give slight hope for the Luton game, because while they are 7th in the form table, they're actually 22nd in their home form.
Yeah,
which is pretty abject. So
that's what we love, isn't it? That's what we love. Remember that advert someone made on Twitter a few years ago that said, having trouble scoring? Here's Leeds United. Here, Del. Something like that. Can't win at home? Leeds are in town.
I'll get the lowdown with the lads at work tomorrow. No, because they played Hull, didn't they, on Saturday?
Yeah, they did. They beat them, didn't they?
Yeah, I'll get a bit. I seen the goal. The goal's fucking comical.
Hey, I ain't actually.
Look at that, eh?
Oh, there we go.
Nearly. I think you're about.
Oh no, it's spot on when it's on table. It's only when I've held it up it was slightly off. I promise.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. We got a comment now. I was going to fire through the comments. I'll do that shortly. But got one from Richard Hogan here. Just said, have we discussed the Farke press conference? I was going to touch on this. Did you see what he said? Have you not seen what he said, Johnny? You'll have seen it, no doubt. You like to stay up to date. He said, Johnny, basically, so we'll get your reaction here. Farke said he wasn't going to lay into Meslier, basically, when it's all on camera and everyone's seen what he's done and, it sort of speaks for itself. He said, I'm 100% convinced we will be playing Premier League football next season. That's what Farke said. What's
right. Can I have the number of his crack? Can I have the number of his crack dealer?
Just done that.
I want the number of his dealer. Fucking hell. You can't say 100%. You can't say 100% because
it's a bold statement, isn't it?
It's a fucking very bold statement. Yeah. Very.
The thing is, I think he knows he's gone if he don't go up, so he's not to lose, really. No, what did he say?
He said, on why Ampadu started, I observed him closely during training in the week. He looked very sharp. For me, it was clear he could play 60 minutes. If not for the yellow card, he could have played longer. It wasn't a coincidence that when he went off, we hadn't conceded a goal.
Fucking hell. So he's blaming the players that were on the pitch after that. It's all right, Ethan. Your sound.
It's fault. But this is the quote. I am 100% convinced we'll play in Premier League next season. I asked them, their goalkeeper went down. I asked the fourth official if he can do anything. He said, our hands are tied. No complaints from Swansea doing this. It's not down to the referee or fourth official why we concede this equaliser. Can't accuse them at all. I don't know what he means there.
I'm not sure.
I genuinely hope he's right. I really do.
I think he's lost it, Johnny. I think he's.
I think a crack is appearing.
He's in bunker in final hours with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
I've been watching a lot of documentaries recently, so I'm only joking, Daniel.
Yeah.
You're watching.
Well, I've backed him to the hilt this year. I've been in the trenches like fuck on Twitter half of the time, and I can see a little crack. I really can. I think he's feeling a bit of pressure now because I think he knows if we don't go up, he's gone. I think.
Well, he is, isn't he?
Do you think he's gone anyway?
2-year deal.
I think if we don't go up, I think the 49ers will shit themselves and get rid of him.
I'll be stunned if he's here next season, whether we go up or not.
Yeah. Oh, I think if we go up, he'll get his chance till about November. See where we are.
I've maintained
they'll want a big name.
I've maintained throughout that we have to give him a chance if he gets us there.
Yeah.
Now if they were to sack him, I'd be a bit like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? We're in the playoffs.
I think it'd be harsh, but
we're in the playoffs at least, aren't we? We're not going to miss out on the playoffs at this point. I'd almost prefer that. Either automatics or not in the playoffs. I'd almost prefer
I would.
that.
I don't want to do the playoffs. I'm not.
We are going into the playoffs. Now, here's the thing. 2-3 games from the end of the season. Let's say our form just stays as it is. We've dropped off and we don't recover it. We don't recover our form, and Burnley and Sheffield United just run away with it. We go into the last 3 games of the season, knowing that it's mathematically almost impossible for us to get promoted automatically. Do you change the manager for somebody that's got pedigree in the playoffs?
That's a big call, isn't it?
Ooh.
That's a big call.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't think he's got the stones. I really don't think he's got the stones.
I worry that if we were to get there again, and at this point, I'm not even confident of getting to the final if we were in the playoffs. But I fear that we'd just play the exact same game again that we played last time.
As it stands, we'd play West Brom. No, I think. Fuck him. I think we'd get if we played West Brom. I'm trying to, convince myself here.
What about Sean Dyche?
No, fuck that. No.
Might get Colin back in, get Bam back together just for one last time, Sharon.
Yeah, after we beat Sheffield United.
Oh no, Matt Leeds. What? It's written. Cov versus Leeds at Wembley. Lampard at Coventry.
Yeah.
All those times we've told him to stop crying and then he'd be beating us at Wembley.
Yeah,
I'd end up getting on tube tracks and touching third rail. I won't want it anymore.
So I was saying that after we beat Sheffield United, I still had that Leeds fear shit myself, and I booked me hotel for Wembley just in case. I don't know why.
I refused to do that this year because I said I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
We'll
might do it next week.
Yeah. Well, they're all getting booked up now.
Says Coventry won't make playoffs. The form side in league and they're in 5th. What makes you think that they're not going to make playoffs?
Just got beat by Burnley, didn't they? So they can't beat form side anymore.
Well, even
they
so.
They play Burnley, don't they, next week, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Is it next week? Isn't it?
Did you just say they got beat by Burnley?
No, they play Burnley next week, don't they?
Burnley just beat them. No, Sheffield United beat them, sorry.
Sheffield United
beat them.
Sheffield United beat them. I'm getting it all mixed up now because it's all blended into one.
But that's only one game. They were the form side, so they're going to be in top 6 of the form, and they're in top 6 of the division. It'd be unusual to see them drop away now, albeit not impossible.
Yeah, I think as well. I think there's a. I know I'm going on like really hope territory here, but Burnley play Derby after this as well, and they're flying at the minute as well. Away.
Listen, mate, we're hoping for miracles.
I know.
We shouldn't be in this position.
Arthur Bushby says, Russell Martin, this is in response to somebody else saying, bringing Russell. Russell Martin, you're joking, rather have Dean Martin.
Get Warnock in for playoffs, you know.
That's what I said.
He'll take them to a theme park, won't he, and get them all on at Flamingo Land. He'll be on that thing again on motorbike. Fucking hell, Big Colin. What a twat.
Oh, God.
Oh, I'm not reading that out.
I'll tell you what, though.
I'm going to read through these few starred comments and get them out of the way. And I think we'll finish this up because it's descended into chaos again now. Ryan O'Donnell says, Farke's tactically inept. He's run our first 11 into the ground exactly like he did last season. As for him sticking with the keeper, what can we say? Absolutely. Lee Fryer, friend of the pod, the big Andy's Man Club guy, you know.
Top
man. Predictions League is, you know,
flying.
A direct line to the EFL. He's got to make it look like he doesn't know what's going to happen, hasn't he?
Okay. Knowing him, he would have got that yesterday.
He says, Rodon has put a contract on Melier, 10k a grand for every mistake. I think Rodon's going to
more than that.
I know. Steve Brown says, we need Ampadu back inside, but not for that game. I also think Ampadu is a better centre-back. We look far more secure when he plays there. I think we all agree on that one, don't we? I wouldn't have put him in midfield. I would have had him at centre-back. And if
I wouldn't have started him.
He shouldn't have played.
I wouldn't have started him, to be honest with you. I said earlier I wouldn't have started him.
No, as good as he is in midfield, and he is brilliant, he makes more of a difference in defence than he makes in midfield because the players around him in the midfield are closer to his level than Strike is to his level at centre-back.
Is their quality of passing from centre-back is a lot miles better as well.
Gives us a different dimension, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
You don't have to get to midfield to then pass it forward. You can just pass it forward if need be.
No.
Skip says, even if we get promoted, I wonder if the 49ers are having thoughts about replacing Farke in the summer, especially if we're possibly going to spend big. Well, I think we just went over that, but it'll depend if there's a name or if there's somebody who says, yeah, I'd come, yeah. Because no doubt these guys, they're already talking to people just in case. That's what they do.
Yeah. And I think they'll want a name. I really do think they'll want
I think they might.
The big name to come in.
Do you know what I think will end up here eventually if we go up? I can see Mourinho, you know.
I knew you were going to say that.
I fucking see it.
We don't want that dinosaur.
No, we don't know. But you know what you think? Because it just draws. It draws owners in though, doesn't it? Because of his name.
Why?
Get out, Gilly.
What's your argument against? Other than the fact that he's a scummer.
He doesn't win games anymore. He doesn't win trophies. Not anymore. He
doesn't win trophies. That's your reason for not having him for the first season in the Premier League. You don't win trophies.
I've only just started what I'm saying. You're jumping on parts of it without context here. He's like a dinosaur. His football belongs in the past. The way that he plays the game has been overcome and surpassed by other better coaches. And
the game's changed.
I don't think some defensive fucker is what I want to see at Leeds. I know you're up against it when you get promoted. You're going to play defensive more than not, but I just don't want him. I don't want his brand of football. I don't. So
if I said that playing like him on a short-term contract would give us 17th in the league and we'd stay up, would you take it?
Well, obviously, if you're guaranteeing it to me, then I'd take anything. But
I think that it gives us a better chance of that than pretty much any other coach. I think that he would fit us. I think people hate him like they hate us. He loves that. We love that. I think I see a lot of crossover. I think that my only issue with him is that he's a scummer. And he would at Chelsea scum as well. You know, that's the issue. It's not the fact that it's his brand of football or whatever, because I would sacrifice playing good football for results. If we're gonna go up into Premier League and play beautiful football and get fucking thumped 7, 8, 9-0 every week, what's
this guy got rid of Mo Salah and Kevin De Bruyne because he didn't think they were up to it.
But that first year, that first year, it's 17th. That's what you got to aim for.
It's the only aim.
Yeah, it's the first aim you go for 17th.
But surely you got to aim a bit higher than that to try and.
Everybody.
That's why I think they'll bring a name in, because I do not expect the 49ers to give Farke the money that he needs to build a squad for the Premier League, because he's not for the job long term. If they give him a go at it, they give him a go at it. But for me, he's not the right person. I recognise that Norwich didn't back him in the Premier League, and it might
not need to worry about it.
They might not need to worry about it, but this is what I'm saying is he's not going to be here whether promoted or not for me. And I don't think should be for me, because if he doesn't get promoted, he's abject failure. He needs to be gone. If he does get promoted, I don't think he's got the minerals for it in the top flight.
Yeah. Do you think there's any chance that the 49ers say, fuck this and sell us to Red Bull if we don't go up?
No, because they need to maximise their income. They've already spent so much that they need to maximise that, and they won't be doing that. We're going to be sold to Red Bull at some point. I've made my peace with it. I fucking hate the fact. I really fucking hate the fact, and I'll forever hate them for it, that we've sold our soul, but it's happening. It's already happened in effect.
Tom Gatlin says, is there any chance if we lose to Luton, then 49ers decide to pull the trigger on Farke even this late in the season?
Not going to happen.
Big call. I don't see it.
Not if we lose to Luton, but if we lose the next 2 games, I can see them going and bringing somebody in that's done well in the playoffs.
What do you think, though?
That's the difficulty. Dean Martin. Go get Dean Martin.
Mark Barlow says, I promised myself I'd not freak out today, but I'm still fuming over Melier. Should have been benched after Holloway and replaced in Jan. That's on Farke and will likely cost him his job. Could well do so, Mark.
All the owners, because you don't know whether he's going to have those conversations. He was
one of the two.
He was actually open enough in the press conferences at the start of the season. He told the Associated Press that he needed a 10, and they still didn't sign one. So you don't know what conversations have gone off. He might have gone, I need a striker, I need a 10, and I need a keeper. He might have said all of those things, and they just haven't happened.
Why make that bid for Hamer and then not do anything else?
I don't think we did. I think that was a bit of a smoke screen, me. Just to keep fans happy.
Maybe.
Well, Wilder were fuming about it. So it were either Sheffield United lying about it that we had, or us lying about it and we hadn't, but Wilder was still fuming about us bidding for him. So I don't know. That's a difficult one.
It's come from somewhere, isn't it?
Answering the question as to why we didn't do something different if we can't get Hamer it was very, very unlikely we were ever going to land in whatever we bid, based on the fact that they'd be strengthening us and weakening themselves.
Yeah,
late in the window.
Yeah, I was never going to sell him.
Nah,
never.
Nah.
Is the unmentionables? Is that Red Bull?
Maybe so. Maybe
I don't know what that is.
Mark Barlow again, he says, don't even think we get to Wembley. Fuck me, I'm so tired of this. We didn't learn last season. I think you're all of us today, Mark. Scooby says, I've never called for Mez to be dropped before. Anyone can make a mistake. You don't want to rub salt in, arm around shoulders and all that. But the time has come. Bench up arse time. Absolutely. Get him out of the team. Dr. Cox says, has Farke lost the dressing room? I wouldn't say that. I don't think it's gone that far.
No. You can see they're all fighting for each other still.
I think so.
Just got a prick and go.
Yeah. DD, Double D, says the 49ers did the bare minimum in the summer for this season. They banked one.
That my wife?
That my missus? Thought you said she wouldn't know you're wrong.
Spelling mistakes. She was that you said.
Yeah. Well, I've got a text of her. She's called me Nobby because she wants Chinese. So she
Dr. Cox, just go back to that previous comment, Jay.
Go on.
So Bryn and I have argued about this over the course of the season because he's like, no, we PSR, we couldn't afford to spend any more money. I think for me, the issue is we do have a lot of money. We've had a lot of cash come into the club. Now, whether that's all been paid up front or not is largely irrelevant because even if it hasn't, then the way that you stage your payments is in exactly the same way. So it makes no odds as to whether the cash is there or not, or whether the cash is going to be there because the way that you pay is that it's going to be there as well. So that's largely irrelevant. And you can look at. So I don't think there was any plan to sell Ruta, which means that you've got over 40 million there that you can put straight into the squad because they never expected to have that money, but he's gone. So your 10's gone, and we've not gone and replaced him. And what we've got is somebody that's a long distance runner. So, the banking of the money, now, they've not banked that into their own pocket because that's not how you take it out. We'd be able to see the dividends and the shares options or whatever it would be. But they did do the bare minimum in the summer. Now, albeit, they went and signed Rothwell. Rothwell's played well. He's
been great.
Fair play. He's played well. They went and signed Tanaka for beans for what he's actually worth. Really good business. That's fine. But we still genuinely have the smallest squad in the league. So, there were more work to do. And when your managers said, I really need a 10, and they don't go and sign one, and then don't go and sign one at the second opportunity in January, you're thinking, why haven't we done that? We sent Joffrey out. We didn't even replace him.
Yeah. The thing is that, people say that we've got 40 million for it. We won't have got that 40 million in one go.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Is it doesn't matter that you don't get it in one go because you don't have to spend it in one go either.
No,
you know the money's coming in, so you can stage the payments in the same way.
You could spend that what they're paying us in somebody else, can't
you? Yeah, absolutely.
We've got one here from Dr. Cox. He says, Johnny, how's Cooper getting on in his new league? I don't know what that means.
He's in is it Bulgaria, isn't it?
Bulgaria, yeah.
Yeah. As far as I know, he's doing all right. I've not spoke to him.
They've given him armband now, haven't they?
Yeah, I've not spoke to him for a while. But from going through family, apparently he's doing all right. He's enjoying it out there. So, but I've not spoke to him personally for not long. Just after the season started, the last time I spoke to him.
I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, but Smarty's shared the XG of the Swansea goal.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it in here so we can have a quick look before we finish up.
It's not great reading.
You bastard! It's telling me I've got to delete some stuff out of the brand. Hang on, getting rid of the momentum graph.
Close your porn up down, dear.
It's not to do with that, mate. It's what's in the bloody brand on here with all the images that we have preloaded. Here we go. 0.03.
I'm not getting involved in this XG bullshit.
None of that stats rubbish.
No, it's just somebody else's opinion of how somebody should have scored. That's all it is.
Right, I got a minute.
XG don't get your points.
We've been favourites all season because they have the strongest squad. You lot just make stuff up because it can't be Farke's fault, can it? No. No. What? If we don't get promoted, it is Farke's fault. But when you're talking about the strongest squad, we've literally got the smallest squad in the league. Literally, you can go on Transfer Market and have a look at the squad sizes. We've literally got the smallest squad in the league. it might be the strongest first team. And I think there's a very solid argument to say that it is, but it is very, very far from the strongest squad because it's the smallest squad. So we're not making that up. That's fact. You can go fact check that. I know Easy B hates Farke anyway, but even so, I just needed to stress that.
I'm not being funny. We've questioned him quite a lot today. I think we've
what
about stuff that he's done wrong. You know, we're not sitting here saying Farke's great. Everything he does is awesome.
Yeah, I backed him all year. And I woke up this morning, and that was my first one where I was like, "What?"
Yeah, and like we said, there are extenuating circumstances. Firpo was dropped because he was back late.
Yeah, it was late.
Nonto didn't start, probably because he limped out of the international fixture, and so he's quoted him. I've seen the quote saying couldn't start Nonto because he was too big a risk. It was a risk to play him at all.
Yeah,
fair. Okay, fine. The issue is in the run up to that, not doing any squad rotation on the wings, not doing any rotation up front, not doing any rotation elsewhere. You know, that not dropping Aronson. For fuck's sake, we had opportunities to do it and we didn't do it. So we're not sitting here saying that Farke is the Lord and Savior, but he's not the only one to blame when he said to his owners and to the press before the window closed early in the season, I need a 10. And they don't get him a 10, and then we go through January and they still don't get him a 10, and the only thing that happens is a forward leaves the squad. That's not all on Farke. That's all we're saying.
Yeah,
I can see Willie starting. I can see Willie starting on Saturday.
I can.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I think that was what we were alluding to.
It's more likely to be on the wings than it is at 10.
I don't.
I think he's more likely to be
Willie and Ramazani
than anybody else.
I think we see changes. I think Willie and Ramazani. But again, we're going into main pod stuff there, aren't we? Really?
Yeah.
I think we've waffled enough about this. To be honest, I don't know how we've talked for this long about just shit a game.
Because I don't shut up. You just wind me up and set me off. Don't you?
You could value that though. Like if you're doing a B and C and it's been crap, and you're thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do. Just throw a few subjects at Gilly, and
needle Gilly a little bit, and
he'll get riled up and he'll fucking put the world to rights. That's what we need. Do you want to read out the last usual bit for us, Gilly, and we'll wrap up?
Just the last thing is, it is still in our hands, and we do still have the. I mean, albeit behind bars, signed who was banned for a little bit, but we do still have the second top scorer in the league. We do still have genuine quality in the squad. Ampadu's now got 60 minutes in his legs. I think there are some things. There are some things that we can look at with a little bit of positivity, in as much as it's not done and dusted. It's not all gone, but it's a tough time, and I think that Bottle is the important thing now. That's what we need. Is we need to see some Bottle.
Had it with him. Yes, he's done, isn't he? Go check on him. Bless him.
So, can we go up still, Gilly?
Art says yes, Ed says no.
Johnny, do we go up?
Oh, yeah. Think it'll be the playoffs.
I think it's the hard rule.
Playoffs.
Well, I want my day out of Wembley. Again,
as long as you get your piss up,
yeah.
I think it's the heart rule in the head, but I think we do, but I don't know why I think that. I can't. I like on that game and the last few games. I don't know why I think that. 'Cause there's absolutely no evidence that we're going to get it together.
But this is a reactional thing, though. And
that's what it is. Hang on, that's what it is. Scooby saying, "Don't mention the mentionables." He's talking about playoffs, isn't he? He's not talking about
Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it.
Except Johnny.
It'd be a right laugh. They fucking
Here we go. We've got a West Brom fan in the house. Matthew William Armitage. That's a great name. He says, "What the hell is that?"
Somebody's up my fucking door. It's all they're Chinese, isn't it?
Oh my God! We got so far. We got right to the end.
Bobby's on one now. Shut up.
You don't get this on other podcasts.
Bobby, sit down.
Anyway, as I'm
Are you kidding? Joe Wainman left his own podcast 3 times to go and answer his door last time I went on with him.
I didn't see that. I missed that one. Okay, now it's good to know others are as crackers as we are. Anyway, this laddie says, as I'm a lone West Brom fan in a family of Leeds fans, all season I've had to listen to my family say how great Leeds are. I'm going to have the last laugh as we beat you in the playoffs.
Ooh.
Well, we'll see, I suppose.
Come back. Come back. Yeah.
Come back at the end and we'll see what happened.
Yeah, I'll watch this back tomorrow. I'm going to screenshot that.
This might really come back and bite me in the arse.
Yeah.
Out of all of the sides currently going for the playoffs, it's West Brom I'd want to play.
Yeah.
Same, funnily enough.
Yeah.
It's West Brom.
They don't strike any fear into me.
There's too much. There's too much pain associated with Coventry and their manager.
I'll be back.
Now, I am giving it some context. Sunderland earlier in the season when we should have beaten them and we didn't. If we're in the playoffs, then Burnley and Sheffield United are out of the picture because it's going to be them two that will go up automatically if we don't. Borough, I think, I don't know. Other than maybe Bristol City, Bristol City and West Brom are the ones that I'd want to play against for this. The sides going for it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't need losers like you at Wembley, pal. Which one of us is that? Is that all of us?
All of us.
Johnny turned it on in the pit up.
They get pissed. So. I don't know. Anyway.
I was like, people are shitting themselves about Coventry. We actually fucking annihilated them. And it should have been about 8-0. That game at their place.
Yeah, that's true. True.
They're shit. They are fucking shit. But I hope they built Burnley on Saturday.
Yeah, too right. Up the Coventry, up the Blues. The
I've always loved
Frank Lampard.
Always loved him.
What a guy. Anyway, on that note, I think that's enough to turn me to needing to talk to somebody, Gilly. So
yeah, that's fine. Good time.
I'm going to go nick their Chinese.
Enjoy.
As ever, we do a bit of an Andy's Man Club piece. So we are going to change things up a little bit in coming podcasts, but for the last time on this one. If you are going through a storm or recently been through one and you're a man over 18, perhaps Andy's Man Club Leeds may be able to help you. With venues in Horsforth, Kirkstall, Pudsey, Central Leeds, Beeston, Seacroft and Morley, open 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. every Monday barring bank holidays. They also run weekly and monthly social events with the aim to get men talking and to smash the stigma around men's mental health. Details of the venues and everything they are doing is at Andy's Man Club Leeds Facebook, so give them a follow and help spread the word.
Nice one. Cheers for that, Gilly.
Can I just give the lads at Hull AMC as well a good shout out? They're
absolutely.
They're good set of lads. I know a few of them. Yeah, they're all right. Nice.
Would an old bean from Hull against them? Not on here.
No. But looking at yeah. No, they're good set of lads. All right. So I'll give them a good shout out as well if you
can. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh yeah, sorry, right. That really sounded bad because Jay were laughing, but I'd popped up a comment from Richard Hogan saying Andy's Man Club will be starting to get busy over the next few weeks. It certainly will in Leeds if things don't go well.
It will, yeah. We're all going to need somebody to talk to, and there's nobody better, to be fair, so why not?
Yeah, good set of lads.
Anyway, let's call it a night at that, lads, because I didn't even think we'd get through an hour of this shit, but we've done an hour and 20 nearly, so cheers everyone that's stuck around and watched and interacted as usual. Give us a like and the old subscribe if you can. And cheers to you, Johnny. Cheers to you, Gilly, for joining me. And we'll be back next week for the main pod, I guess. And we'll see what's what then.
We will.
All right. See you later, boys.
Nice one.
Cheers all.
Adios.
See you later.
Good night.